Aloha and welcome to this video. I am your astrologer, Tom, and in this video, we're going to continue along diving into the cycles and other key transits that are present during this new moon. If you haven't already watched the short overview of the new moon for Thursday, March 31st, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can take a look at that. So we're going to dive into some of the other energies that are present during this new moon here. So firstly, there's a focus on the relationship and the individual. So if you are in a relationship or you're related, you have a way where you're interacting with others as individuals, potentially it's seeing what needs to change or reaffirming a commitment to one another. So, in a relationship, this is a opportunity to understand what are those individual needs and how are you going to relate them together in the form of a relationship. Perfect energy for that. Could it also include what action is needed to create or maintain something long-term? Okay, so redefining or reaffirming those individual needs and how do you bring in a relationship the needs of the individual together in a way that relates? Okay, because the energies here are all about the self and then relating that to another individual. And often that plays out in the form of a romantic relationship. Some other transits that are involved here is consider the action that includes important changes to finances or relationships that result in new structures. Great opportunity to reboot a relationship or to wrap one up, depending on what may need to occur here. And what relationships are supporting your future? What relationships are repeating the past? So it may be an important time to just be honest with yourself about those things as well. During this time, methodically change rather than change for the sake of change. So you during this energy, there's a desire to want to change, and the energy is paired with another energy that is prompting that change to be methodical, to be able to build structure, to be able to actually make things tangible. Shortly after this new moon, the moon energy itself moves into something where it desires some sort of tangible action. So if you're just impulsive without knowing what you're creating, then that energy will die down and you would have just taken impulsive action as opposed to action that directly supports the future. So what this energy is about is how do you take that quick action, get started? So it's a great energy to, if you've been stuck on something, it's a great energy to help you kind of just get initiated, to get started on that next step along the path. And so the courage to change with unique methods may appear. So things that you might not have attempted before, and to have that opportunity to take a leap of faith may come along as well. Along with that, we have from April 5th to May 3rd. So this is coming up. It's a great energy for compassionate, being compassionate, understanding times in your relationship. And during this energy, it's important to keep in mind you as an individual, right? So a relationship is about relating. So you don't want to be on either extreme with this. You don't want to be the individual or surrendering the individual for the purposes of relationship. There needs to be a way where two people in a relationship take who you are and you bring that into the relationship. And this energy is definitely asking for that. And it's kind of giving you both perspectives. There's this new moon energy that's all about the individual. And then there's the April 5th to May 3rd time period where it's a little bit more about the relationship. And so if you take advantage of what your needs are as an individual, what your partner's needs are as an individual, then you can bring that in to the relationship from April 5th to May 3rd, and you can actually start putting tangible steps in place to help strengthen and further develop and add structure to the relationship. And if you're not in a relationship, this is all about relating to other people, relating to another individual, not relating to groups, but more about how you relate to others. So you can think about it as how you take you as an individual and begin to bring you as an individual into the outer world. Okay. The other thing is you want to capitalize on the fast-paced thinking leading up to April 10th. There's a great energy present for your thinking and being able to be quick with that. And then beginning with April 10th, it's beginning to take those ideas, those thoughts, and to build something with it. So you're bringing the mind into the physical. Right now, there's a great energy present for energy within the mind. Okay. And the mind energy is going to connect between spirit and your emotions. And then as we lead up to April 10th, taking those thoughts and actually bringing it into something physical, something that we want to manifest, something that we want to create, something that we want to build. Okay. There's a cycle with Jupiter and Neptune. I won't get into too much of the detail there, between April 10th through at least April 24th. A pretty important astrological cycle does happen about once every 13 years, but doesn't happen the way that it's happening this time, or hasn't happened the way that it is happening this time for over 100 years. So this is a great new spiritual cycle for humanity as a whole, where we make changes to create an even more fulfilling life. This is essentially, to some degree, elevating humanity. And while we may not see what that next step is, or we may have an ideal outcome, so there's two extremes. It's like a fog or rose-colored glasses. What we actually need to do is ensure that the steps that we take are practical, grounded, and including facing what we need to face, and to be able to elevate to an even more fulfilling life. And then just to remind you, if you've been following me for a while, we have the green light that I talked about in several other videos, going from February 3rd to the end of April. So we're still in that time period. We're able to continue to work on important changes and new projects. And if you've been following me for a little while, and you have the idea of, you've been working through the beginning of March, taking small steps towards the future, we're now on the other side of that, where now we're actually able to begin those small steps now can become a little bit more exponential. And so basically, the results of the seeds that you've been planting through the beginning of March can now start to prosper. So, okay. And so if you like this video and you would like to see more like it, please subscribe. And as always, aloha, hui ho. I'll talk with you again soon. Take care.